company a short time ago bought SkillSoft for $1 billion. And as I know, it was one of the biggest deals on the European market for the last year.
Yeah.
And why do you think it was so interesting for this group of companies?
I think it was interesting because they saw the potential for growth in the e-learning market, and in SkillSoft in particular as a market leader for e-learning. And the most interesting points that came across after the acquisition by the investors was their ambition to ensure that 50% of all sales will be outside of the United States of America within 3 or 4 years. Currently, 70% of sales are in the United States, 30% are in markets outside of that. So it's a very ambitious transition from a US-focused company to a much more international and global company. And one of the other ambitions they have is within 5 years is to turn SkillSoft into, for turnover, which is currently about $330 million US dollars per annum, into a $1 billion turnover company. And that will be hopefully within 5 years, and that's based on some organic growth, but also acquisitions. So I think the partners, the investment partners, see SkillSoft that they can actually round out and bring much more to the table and look at other areas like competencies and other tools around the e-learning area that will give SkillSoft a total solution rather than just being perceived maybe in some courses as a vendor for courseware and books and certain elements of the learning equation, but a company that can develop all of this, and which will obviously increase massive value to the company and to our customers and partners.
Okay, thank you. And why now it is so interesting for your company to work in the Russian market?
I think the Russian market is a massive market with a huge population. I think it's 112 million people, a young population. And we found, obviously, over the last couple of years, the economic crisis has hit Russia very hard. But now we're seeing great signs of recovery. We're seeing that there is a lot of interest from the major organisations in Russia. We have contracts now with Lukoil, Gazprom, Rosneft. So the major energy providers, MTS, communications company, and we're seeing even more interest from these organisations and other organisations that haven't necessarily been associated with e-learning in the past. So we see that Russia is very hungry for learning and is encompassing. We're seeing the e-learning market develop from a very resistant start and resistance in the past to something that is maturing rapidly, as can be seen by eLearn Expo, where we have many more exhibitors and more guests visiting this year. I will be there myself to help our partners to increase their sales revenues in the coming year.
Thank you. And how can you characterize the e-learning market, for example, in Ukraine or Belarus?
I think Ukraine and Belarus are less mature than Russia at the moment, but we have a great opportunity in those countries as well as in Russia for the Russian-speaking populations to develop via SkillSoft e-learning, because only a year and a half ago, SkillSoft invested in the region of $500,000 US in new courses, something that no other company has done in the Russian market. So we provided fantastic courses in time management, leadership skills, emotional intelligence, a lot of the things and the skills that are going to be required to drive Russia forward in the coming 10 years. We already have those tools in place in Russia, ready to be utilised.
Thank you. We know that in Russia you work not for the first time, yes, and what are the most interesting projects, maybe you will say about some companies, was realized with SkillSoft in Russia?
I would say the one that I found most interesting recently was with the St. Petersburg State University, where we actually provide Books 24/7, a library of online books to all of their students and academic staff. So this is for everyone has access to various collections, our premier collections of IT Pro, more than 8,000 IT professional published books, more than 6,000 business books, and some other areas such as engineering and financial areas as well. So I'd say that's the most interesting project because you know, we ran a pilot for many universities, and we're seeing increased interest. And we're just looking at the St. Petersburg State University as the first, and as a case study. It's been very successful there. The usage has been very good, and we are currently conducting a case study with them, which is going to help us to reach out to the other universities and educational institutes in Russia to once again generate more customers via our partnership network for SkillSoft.
Okay. A few days ago, there was signed an agreement between SkillSoft and ГиперМetod IBS. And how do you see your collaboration?
Well, I think it's very exciting because I think that LMS providers are very key to our reseller and partnership network because they have the LMS. Guess what? People need content on that LMS. So it's a natural fit between SkillSoft and LMS providers. And ГиперMetod, what I was impressed with was that they were not just looking at let's sell some courses, they were looking at it from a more solution-based point of view when I met up with ГиперMetod and IBS themselves. So I think with the backing of IBS and the contacts they have at a very high level, it's a fantastic opportunity for ГиперMetod to achieve sales of SkillSoft courses.
Okay. And what, I can say new, but what modern trend of e-learning education you can say for us, yes? And what kind of trends is so popular not only in Russia but for example in Ukraine or in Belarus?
Okay, I think that at the moment we have to change the perception of e-learning as something that is just you know, remote. There is no human interaction, and this is the perception of some people. But as we explained before, with our technical courses, we actually provide mentors for the courses, experts online, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, are available for the technical users. And I think what we need to achieve is an understanding that e-learning is not a replacement for classroom training necessarily. It embellishes learning in general. You know, there are all sorts of learning. There's classroom training, there's technology-enabled training or e-learning or whatever you want to call it. And I think what we need to do is embrace e-learning as not only cost-effective, but it's timely training that can be taken at any time, anywhere where you have an internet connection, at the convenience of the customer, and also that it can be blended with classroom training. So my belief is that, you know, with e-learning, it should be blended as part of the overall learning path for an individual or for an organisation, interspersed with workshops, with classroom training, and have e-learning in there as well. So you have a complete rounded educational experience for users that is going to enhance their prospects, and therefore it's going to ensure that each and any organisation has a much better trained workforce that is more able to carry out their tasks, and a happier workforce that is going to feel more committed to the organisation because it's giving them the opportunities to learn via a variety of methods.
Okay. I think that's all. Thank you
You're welcome.
for your answers.
Thank you.